Right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Blackwood's AGM. I just have a couple of housekeeping announcements before I hand over to our chair, Julie, to start the proceedings this morning. There is no fire drill planned, so if the alarm does go off, please make your way back out the way that you came. And if anybody needs extra help, we look for a member of staff, please. Just to also make you aware that we are live streaming the meeting this morning, so you'll be recorded as well. Okay, I will hand over to Julie now. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz, and a very, very warm welcome to everybody. I've never been at Murrayfield before, and I am really excited to be here today. It's such an awesome place, and I hope you all enjoy the venue and enjoy the day. I'd like to give a special welcome to those who are viewing us remotely on the live stream, including from our care homes. We've asked for questions on the accounts in advance of the meeting, and you will have an opportunity to ask questions on the accounts at item 4 on the agenda. If you have questions about your tenancy, house, or neighborhood, please go to the listening post station where Doug Moyes, seated over there, our Director of Customer Services, and the team will be more than happy to answer questions after the formal AGM business today. Okay, first of all, Lorraine, do we have any apologies? Thank you, Lorraine. I don't know if you could hear, but Lorraine said there are 8 apologies and the names will be recorded in the minutes. Moving on to item 2 on the agenda, I'd like to check that members are happy that the minutes they have received are a true and accurate account of the meeting last year. I don't see any comments, so I'd like to request a proposer and a seconder from members who were present at the meeting last year. Peter, thank you. Were you raising your hand or just stretching? Okay. And Linda. Okay, thank you very much. It's my role as chair to present the chair's report on Blackwood's activities for last year. That is the financial year April 1, 2022 to March 30, 2023. So let's look at our performance and the major events over the last year. To start with, we've had several changes in our executive team. Fancha Kelly, our chief executive for 10 years, resigned effective February 1st. Fancha was key to cementing Blackwood's position as a leading provider of homes and services aimed at helping people to live independently. And I want to express our thanks and appreciation for her very significant contribution. Secondly, Debbie Collins, our Director of Finance, left us in March 2023 to take up a position with another social landlord. I also want to acknowledge Debbie's contribution and thank her on behalf of all of us at Blackwood. I am pleased to report that following a rigorous external recruitment process, Simon Fitzpatrick was appointed as Blackwood's Chief Executive as of February 1, 2023. Many, if not most of you, know Simon from his previous role as Blackwood's Development and Commercial Director. Along with his knowledge and experience of Blackwood, Simon brings inspiring dedication and enthusiasm to his role. Our new Director of Finance and Strategic Partnerships, Heather Duncan, was appointed in April 2023. Give us a wave, Heather. Thank you. Heather was most recently the head of our Peoplehood Project, our trailblazing healthy aging program. Additional changes to our executive team were the appointment of Steph Sutherland. Steph, where are you, Steph? Steph, give us a wave, thank you, to replace Simon as Development and Commercial Director, and the appointment of Paul Bellamy. Paul, are you here? There you are, Paul. Okay. Paul has been appointed as Head of Property. Simon, Heather, Steph, and Paul, along with Liz McKinnon, our Director of Corporate Services, Doug Moyes, our Director of Customer Services, and Jane Riley, Head of HR and Organizational Development, constitute our new executive team. Colin Foskett, Head of Innovation, has been a valued member of our executive team, and we are sorry that he will be moving on from Blackwood later this month. I want to thank Colin for his excellent contribution and his very, very helpful contribution to our strategic objectives on innovation and thought leadership. Blackwood's board has confidence in the ability of our team to deliver our ambition to support more customers to live independently by increasing capacity and resilience as a sustainable, not-for-profit business. As I predicted in my report at last year's AGM, the financial pressures of last year have continued to grow and show little sign of easing. The entire team at Blackwood is working hard to continue to provide the services and customer experience you expect, despite this very challenging economic climate. Last year was the second year of our 5-year strategy and business plan to progress our goals. We achieved progress in delivering many of the projects we had identified to further our strategy. The Mackle House Court development completed and was handed over early in 2022. Work is well underway at Charleston in Dundee, with homes being scheduled for handover in 2024. Following an extensive period of engagement and planning with Abbeyfield, a successful transfer of engagement took place at the end of August 2022, adding 14 houses of multiple occupancy to our housing portfolio and an additional 130 tenancies. Blackwood now has a total housing stock of 1,679. In America, we do numbers a bit differently. Work to improve our customer service has been supported by investment in a new state-of-the-art contact management system, which is designed to make life easier for tenants and their families across Scotland when seeking information and advice. Our activities during the year included an investment of 3.8 million in planned maintenance programs, We met the target of 99% compliance with Scottish housing quality standards, and over 90% of tenants were satisfied with the quality of their homes. Despite a challenging contractor market, emergency repairs were completed in an average of 5.6 hours and non-emergencies in just under 7 working days. We also completed a program to upgrade fire detection and alarm systems to comply with recent legislative changes. In light of a heightened focus by the social housing sector on damp, mold, and condensation, we implemented a new policy approach that resulted in 44 home visits, 16% of which resulted in specialist works being undertaken. In December 2022, we recruited 2 welfare rights officers to provide financial advice and support to tenants, and to date, they have helped secure over £90,000 in additional income for low-income households. In addition, the welfare rights officers administered a total of £75,000 worth of food and energy vouchers to eligible tenants through the Scottish Government's Fuel Insecurity Fund and Big Lottery Fund. However, the performance for the year reflects the continued challenges resulting from the economic pressures experienced throughout the year. Rising inflation and increased costs have impacted our budgets, and the cost of living crisis affected our customers. The difficult operating environment meant that although we showed a strong operating surplus because of the integration of Abbeyfield and its assets, we made a loss of £1.3 million on our day-to-day operating activity. Our costs associated with empty homes and arrears both increased during the year, although less than might have been the case without the preventative measures that we implemented. Economic pressures affecting our contractors resulted in delays to void works due to reduced capacity, and vacancies due to lost income impacted our results for the year. 186 homes were relet last year, a significant increase of 59 from the previous year. At the time of transfer, Abbeyfield had 24 voids, which added significantly to the number of empty properties being managed across our portfolio. The allocation of tenancies at the former Abbeyfield houses was supported by a new marketing plan, which increased occupancy from 71% to 80% between December and the end of the financial year. Blackwood's customers continue to receive an exceptional care service, which they rate highly, with 99% reporting we support them to meet their outcomes. Care sustainability remained a focus for Blackwood during the year. Continued recruitment challenges across the care sector, staff absence and staff turnover required higher agency spend to cover the care for our customers and impacted our overall employee costs across the year. The impact of agency expenditure and overtime on care's financial sustainability is still considerable, but there were positive signs by the end of Q4 that the number of new starts in our employment was increasing. The decision to withdraw from loss-making services in previous years has seen care services remain financially sustainable overall. Dundee and Glasgow continued to be a focus during the year, with a final decision reached to withdraw our Glasgow West Care at Home service in mid-April 2023 due to recruitment challenges in that particular area and an unsustainable level of care hours. Our care homes have been affected by the cost of living crisis, and specifically the increase in food and energy costs. This pressure is likely to continue throughout this year, and we have assumed these increased costs as part of our budget for the year. We furthered our key strategic objective to grow our 24/7 responder services during the year with an increase in customers in both Edinburgh and Glasgow. Although slower than anticipated, referrals increased towards the end of last year, and we have expanded the service from 110 to 160 customers. Overall customer satisfaction with the 24/7 responder service remains high, with all customers who provided reviews rating their service as good, very good, or excellent at supporting them to meet their outcomes throughout the year. Blackwood's governing body is the Board of Trustees. Quite a lot of them seated here in the front row. The board met 8 times last year, including 2 special meetings. The annual board appraisal system ensured that the right mix of skills and experience were available to direct the growing complexity and risk profile of the business. We have a group of highly professional board members who serve on a voluntary basis and devote a considerable amount of time to Blackwood. I want to acknowledge them and thank them for their service. So what's next for Blackwood? The past year has been one of change and challenge. The challenges continue, and they are difficult, demanding, and draining for our staff. Yet every time I visit our homes, I am awed by the dedication and professionalism of our teams. I want to take the opportunity today to acknowledge our superb staff, many of whom are with us today, and thank them for their enormous effort and all that they have achieved. We know that the coming year will require us to maintain exceptional concentration and great effort to achieve our objectives. As chair, along with the rest of the board, we will be working hard to make sure that Blackwood retains the financial capacity and the drive to deliver on its mission in extremely difficult times. The board and I will be supporting our exceptional team as they focus on this task. I hope this report gives members assurance that we will continue to work to deliver on our responsibilities to the very best of our ability over the coming year. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to call your attention to the wonderful artwork on display in the foyer, which Elena Harris has created for us to celebrate Blackwood's 50th anniversary. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Elena. Give us a wave, Elena. You can pick up a card with a sample of one of the artworks outside on the table as a lovely souvenir of the day and a fitting tribute to Blackwood and Elena's work with our customers. Big thank you to Elena, and please do take the time to have a look at the display, which includes the contributions from all the customers who participated in the workshops that Elena ran. Thank you for listening so patiently. Now I want to introduce Heather Duncan, our Director of Finance and Strategic Partnerships, who will be available to answer any questions on the accounts. Heather. Do you have a mic or are you coming up here? Okay. Okay.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name's Kelly Adams and I'm an audit partner with RSM, and I've signed off the audit opinion in the financial statements, and I'm just going to give you a little presentation on the accounts for the year. So I'm pleased to report that, having undertaken our detailed audit procedures, we have issued what we call a clean and unmodified audit opinion on the financial statements for the year ended 31st of March 2023, and we are therefore happy that they show a true and fair view. I can confirm that we are satisfied that there continues to be strong and robust systems and controls in place within the organisation, and indeed the board's statement on internal financial controls in the financial statements, which is required by the regulator, states this fact. The current year audit was once again performed on site. We were pleased with the way the audit went, and we would like to extend our thanks to Heather and the rest of the team for their help and assistance throughout the audit process. As Julie's already alluded to, overall 2023 has been a challenging year, not only for Blackwood but for all housing associations and other not-for-profit organisations. And this is reflected in the performance in the year that you can see in the financial statements, which does show, as Julie's alluded to, an operating deficit of 584k, but this is after depreciation and grant amortisation of 1.9 million. So removing these non-cash items, this actually shows an operational surplus of 1.4 million. Although income increased by 9% year on year, costs increased at a higher rate of 15%. Price increases driven by inflation have driven up repairs and maintenance costs, and uplifts in salaries in relation to the Scottish living wage, coupled with challenges in recruitment, retention and absence, as seen across the entire care sector, have also resulted in increased employee costs year on year. Blackwood's care homes were also impacted by the increase in food and energy costs, and significant investment was also made in new IT systems. The transfer of engagements from Abbeyfield in August 2022 has also impacted the accounts significantly, and it resulted in the association achieving an overall surplus of 5.5 million. A fair value gain of 6.8 million was made on the transfer, which represents the assets and liabilities that have transferred over from Abbeyfield. It should be noted that this is an accounting entry and it's not a cash gain. In addition to this, the organisation maintained strong cash balances and a healthy balance sheet at 22 million, which was also improved by the transfer of engagements from Abbeyfield. The future will continue to be challenging for RSLs like Blackwood, and particularly for you as a support and care provider as the economic pressures continue. But we are comfortable over management's budgets and forecasts that they have prepared and the assumptions that they've used in preparing them for the future, which do take into account the ongoing impact of the inflationary pressures and the economic uncertainties. And we agree with their conclusion that Blackwood remains a going concern for the foreseeable future. We expect to see continued pressure on funding, increased need and demand for care and support services, coupled with a higher expectation of efficiency and value for money from local authorities. But we are confident that Blackwood has appropriately strong governance and financial controls to ensure resilience in the financial base and to enable the organisation to be flexible enough to adapt quickly, to take advantage of opportunities, but also to react to risks and ensure the security and quality of your customers' care and support. I'm very pleased to be able to submit these financial statements for adoption. Thank you. Happy to take any questions that anybody might have on the financial statements. Oh, there's just going to be a wee microphone passed to you there so that everybody can hear.
I just wanted to say, you know, you were talking about financial. I just wanted, in Dundee, there's quite a number of us involved in peoplehood, and I just want to know what the future is for peoplehood and the funding as well.
Thank you for your question. Peoplehood officially ends in March next year, but we're extending it to evaluate it until September 2024. We're also looking at how we can adopt the findings and learnings that we've had through Peoplehood over the last 3 years and use it more widely to support Blackwood customers. So ideally, we'll be able to identify funding sources that will take it on beyond that period.
Right, thank you.
My question is, why does it take so long to be notified you're in arrears?
Sorry, I missed the end of that.
We had problems a while back because through several reasons that the council didn't pay you because there was a query over some of the benefits. Yeah, it was months and months later before you notified us it was in arrears. And I think that is too long. It should be quicker. As soon as you know, we should be told.
Okay, I'm happy to discuss individual cases off the floor. Okay.
Right, I think it was the fact that the council don't pay the full housing benefit, right? And we didn't know, right? So as far as we were concerned, everything was being paid, right?
Okay.
And it was only when we were 6 months in arrears that we got a phone call. Right? Now, 6 months in arrears, the amount doesn't matter. When it's like gone on for 6 months, you're looking at a big amount anyway. Whereas if we'd been notified, then we could have paid it.
We're just taking questions on the accounts for Blackwood at the moment, but we do have a listening post outside, and there are several people who'll be happy to discuss individual situations after the business of the AGM. We can only take questions on items that are on the agenda at the AGM. It's an individual question. So all the questions you're asking, we can deal with separately after the AGM.
Microphone.
Because 6 months in arrears and not being told and it's a shock to everybody else as well. So people that don't know this, who's here today, I think that's very, it's advising people what does go on, and we should know about that. So, I take your point and what you're saying, but that actually makes the rest of us knowledgeable, because we've actually come across this before and it was raised. And it actually happened to some people where we live, and it was because Blackwood were saying that they were residential and they're social, and that changes everything. So really, I think it's good that people voice their opinions and hear what other people's got to say, because it encourages other people to say what's happened to them. It makes us more knowledgeable, I suppose.
I totally agree, because it should be the first month is that you should let the tenants know that they're in arrears. I totally agree with that lady, what she said. 6 months is quite a long time down the line. And it does get people worked up.
Guys, I do appreciate that. I think what we can do is certainly, as part of our customer engagement, we could write out specifically on things like housing benefit and arrears if there's some information required. As Julie said, it's the questions on the overall accounts, but I do take your point, sir, and we can speak to anyone who's got individual concerns at the listening post, and corporately we can send something out if that is an issue that is affecting people. Okay.
Are there any other questions on the accounts that Kelly has presented and that have been circulated?
I just wanted to say I was very impressed in Euro at the bathrooms being redone, and I had a lot of, as you mentioned mould in mine, and the guy said it was the worst. Not very. He said it was the worst he's ever seen in any housing association in Scotland. So he painted it over then, and decided to, the new bathroom is it's better than Hillcrest, because I went to see somebody in a Hillcrest one, and they've just had theirs done, and they didn't make it. They actually had to get the people back to reseal the whole thing twice.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. That was okay.
Okay, thank you for your questions and comments. And now I'd like to ask members to adopt the accounts. And I'd like a proposer and a seconder for adopting the accounts. Members, they have to come from members. Peter? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Excellent. And I'm going to hand over to Liz McKinnon. The seconder, I'm sorry, Mr. Jenkinson? Did you get it? Okay, thank you. Liz is going to take over for the next item on the agenda.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Chair. So just to remind members, you received a paper in your members pack regarding the election of our new board members. We have 3 current board members who, as per our rules 40.1, will be stepping down and retiring and then restanding for election at today's AGM. We also have 3 members who are co-optees who are standing for election to the board. Julie McDowell, David Melvin, and David Tears have retired and are now seeking re-election as per our rules. Please wave for the rest of the membership. Thank you. Tom Dodds was appointed as a co-optee to our board in January 2023. Callum Chomchuk was appointed as co-optee in January 23 also, and Andy Steele at the end there was also appointed co-optee in August 23. They are all also seeking election. If you guys could wave as well, please, just so people know who you are. So as per rule 40.1 in the Blackwood rules, because the number standing for election is fewer than our vacant spaces, and because our chair and vice chair are also standing down and retiring and then standing again for re-election, the chair of the Audit, Performance and Finance Committee, Linda Duncan, has declared them as elected and re-elected without a vote today. This now notes that we have formally re-elected these 6 people to the board for the year ahead. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the appointment of external auditors. And we'd like to ask the membership to appoint RSM, our current external auditors, for a further year until the 2024 AGM. And I need, again, members, I need a proposer and a seconder for the appointment of the external auditors. Billy Crone, proposer, and Louise Duncan, seconder. We have more motions coming up. We'll get you the next time. Okay, so we are happy now to appoint the external auditors for another year. And now the highlight of our day, the Chief Executive's report from our new Chief Executive. Take it away, Simon.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning, everyone. And once again, I want to thank you for coming to our AGM today. I know that after the business of the meeting itself, we're going to have a brilliant day full of activities. And I'd encourage everyone to stick around and enjoy the fun at this stunning venue. I'm particularly looking forward to hearing your collective voice as we sing together. You'll notice that I said the word your and not our. If I took part in the singing, this would be my first and last AGM as Chief Executive. As Julie outlined in her Chair's address, the last year has been challenging for landlords across the social housing sector, and Blackwood has not been immune to those challenges. Pressure on energy costs, repairs, inflation, interest rates, supply chains and staffing has meant that we've had to make difficult decisions and prioritise services. These were the major factors, as Julie and Kelly have outlined, in our operating performance last year. And these pressures continue into 2023-24, and so Blackwood still has to balance the affordability of rents and services. This year we set our rent increase at 5% and our service charge increase at 7.5%. This level was less than half the rate of inflation at the time, but we felt that at the height of the cost of living crisis, it was the right thing to do. As we come into the rent consultation period for 2024 and 25, which is year 4 of our strategy, we will have to face this difficult challenge again, and we will have open, honest, and robust conversations with you about costs and services. However, despite these pressures, we have continued to deliver many of the things for our customers. Between this year and last, we will have completed more than £1 million worth of adaptations, making our tenants' homes more accessible and helping them live more independently. In addition to the capital spend improving our homes that our Chair highlighted, we are well on our way to providing 66 new homes in Dundee, Blackwood's largest ever development, with the first batch of homes being delivered this financial year and ahead of schedule. Our homes remain safe and secure, our developments remain pleasant and vibrant, and our care services remain high quality, with grades of very good and good across the country. Our Peoplehood project is leading the way in creating products and services that help people live longer, happier and healthier lives. Across Dundee, Glasgow and Buckie, Blackwood and industry partners will have invested £12 million by the summer of 2024, providing things like sporting programmes, electric vehicles, advanced technology and connectivity. This is supported by a grant from Innovate UK and is already making a huge difference to the lives of people in the neighbourhoods, making them, as an example, 2 times less likely to feel lonely or isolated than the national average. This, combined with Blackwood's work on its 50th anniversary, providing the blueprint for independent living, keeps us at the vanguard of thought leadership and innovation in helping people live more independently. As we move beyond peoplehood, our focus is to capitalise on this investment by making our wider customer lives better and generating income to support services. And this focus will be needed as we see funding environments stretched, including last week's programme for government announcement. Of course, none of these projects would be possible without the dedication and commitment of Blackwood staff. During my time with Blackwood, it has never failed to amaze me how well our teams interact with and look after our customers. Now that I'm Chief Executive, it amazes me even more. The energy and enthusiasm they bring to this event and to their everyday tasks helps inspire me, the executive management team, and our board. Now, I'd like to think some of this is because they're trying to impress the new Chief Executive, but actually you only have to spend 5 minutes with them to see that they rightly prioritise our customers and not, sadly, stroking my ego. To them, alongside the new executive management team that Julie highlighted, I want to reiterate our Chair's thanks. And particularly, I want to thank the project team for today's event, Liz McKinnon, Kat Campbell, Paulina Change, I've said that right, Paulina, have I? I think I have, I hope. Andrew Slate, Ruth Morrison, Viv McNicken, Lorraine Rice, and William. William doesn't have a second name. I just couldn't remember. And I want to echo Julie's thanks to Colin Foskett, our Head of Innovation. Colin's leaving us later this month, and he's been at the forefront of many of our strategic priorities for the last 12 years. Thank you, Colin, and thank you, team. 1 year ago this month, Abbeyfield Scotland transferred into Blackwood, and we've been delighted over the past 12 months to see how former Abbeyfield employees and customers have integrated with us. And it's a credit to them that they've embraced this change while retaining the legacy of all the great work that Abbeyfield did over the years. We remain committed to delivering the promises we made at the time of the transfer, even in these challenging times. In fact, even during these times, it's great to see how well our customers play their part in engaging with Blackwood. To all of you here today, and it's great to see some familiar faces like Mary Guild and Glenn Stevenson and Jim Walker. And Jim, I think I speak for us all when I say we miss Anne terribly. I want to say thank you, customers. In particular, I want to continue to recognise the work that our tenant scrutiny panel, Team Blackwood, does. And I'm delighted to see them meeting with our board today. Their oversight and customer voice is critical to helping us deliver great services. Today's theme is customers first, and Team Blackwood are an integral cog in helping that become a reality. And I also want to thank Blackwood's board and chair for their insight, foresight, and oversight. It's been really encouraging over the last 10 months to see them meet frequently with customers and employees out in our developments and our care homes, while taking the important and sometimes difficult decisions that are needed. As we take forward Blackwood's strategy of growing sustainably, their expertise and experience will continue to stand us in good stead. In summary, despite the most challenging environment that the sector has ever seen, Blackwood continues to prioritise its tenants and customers. The choices that we make as we come through the year will not always be easy, but we are committed to making them with you and not to you. We will come through this period as a resilient, efficient, and innovative landlord that focuses on our customer first, like today's theme. Our dedicated board and employees remain passionate and enthusiastic about delivering our strategy, living our values, and keeping our vision of helping people live their lives to the full. Thank you.
Wait a minute, did I get applause?
You did not, Chair, no.
Is that sexism? I don't know. All right, thank you very much, Simon. You did us proud in your first address as chief executive. Okay, it's now time for me to bring the meeting to a conclusion. And I want to thank RSM, our external auditors. I want to thank all of you, our members and customers, for joining us. I want to emphasize again that we are always happy to listen and communicate, and people will be outside at that listening post for further discussions on anything that came up today in the meeting or that you wish to raise with them. And now I would like to invite everyone to join us on the pitch for a group photo, which should be a rather special event, I think. Group photo on the pitch at Murrayfield. Let's make it happen, everybody. Thank you.